That was long. Sorry about that. Welcome to Thursday night's Airbrush Down and Dirty tricks. For some reason, my soundboard, when it went, it's like it wasn't playing, so if I hit the button again, it wouldn't shut off. And I just had to let it run out. And it's much longer than I thought. I usually start it like a minute before, minute and a half, and then I usually kill it when the 10-second countdown goes through. But that didn't happen. So now, now we're dealing with this. Let's see who we got in here tonight. We got Mike Stanton. What's happening? Raymond Carson. What's going on? Ryan Shea, Brian Moore, Dan Mayer. Who else we got in here? Who else? We got Todd. Todd Grigsby. How are we doing, everyone? Hope everyone is doing well. Hope everyone's doing good. Let's see if everything should be working, except something's frozen. Damn, my chat is frozen on my teleprompter. Well, I'm just going to have to go with my phone. Gary Shees, what's happening? All right, let's get to it. Let's get to what we got going on. All right, I think the sound is good by everyone. I think the audio is good. Morbius, what's going on? Bill Douglas, hello. Let's see if I can turn this. There we go. Yeah, that's better. Good, good, good. All right. All right, Gary. I'm going to do one other quick thing. All right, there we go. I got that to work. Sorry about that. Good, good, good. All right, let's talk about where we left off last week. Hellboy. The Skullified Hellboy is where we left off. It's looking pretty cool. We freehanded everything. We transferred everything with pencil. What happened to the aviator skull that used to hang behind you? Oh, it's just on the floor. Oh no, it's right there. It's down the bottom. It's just the blue light. You really can't see it. Yeah, that's still there. Yeah, that was one Rhino and I did. Yeah. I did that one before. I really got to do that again on live, but do it in fire like we did that one. Because that was the one me and Rhino did at the, one of the last Airbrush Rendezvous was one after Mike passed away. Because that one has still a Valley Killer, the Killer Paint logo in it. And we kind of did this as an ode to Mike for those who've never seen it. The vector download is available for those who want it. But this is the one Rhino and I did. That one, I don't know, do we sign it? Well, we didn't. We did somewhere. But it was the rendezvous after Mike passed, so we ended up doing this fire example, and then we put his logo in it. So when you buy the file, the only thing that doesn't come is that logo, because I didn't feel right, obviously, selling Mike's logo. But yeah, it's a cool project. Actually, this could be one to revisit at some point. It's very cool. It's a very cool piece. All right, so what do we got tonight? Let's break out a couple new guns, shall we? At least we're going to use one of them. These, Iwata was gracious enough to send me to use and kind of go over and do an unboxing, which I already recorded the unboxing. I put everything in the back in the box so I could do it again here, but just being up front. These are the HPs. These are the HPC pluses, the plus models, the high performance series. So basically, it's the next step over the Eclipse line. So you have the Eclipse line, which is the all-around, go-to workhorse brush that I've been using for years, and that the Takumi Eclipse is the same head system. Okay, that's got the floating, the way these, for those who don't really know the difference, So the Eclipse line uses the simple cone fluid nozzle, which are great. They work great, you know, super good for spraying, but you can't really get much smaller than a 3.5 that's really functional. They do make them, and some brands try to, but they flare really easy. So the 3.35 that this is works great with this setup, and what centers it and kind of locks it in place is the whole head assembly, these two pieces. That's just an air cap. And you can get a little tension by how tight, you know, how tightly you wound it. And then obviously you have the microns, which are super detail, 0.18, 0.23 sizes. Very expensive, very awesome, but almost too much for what 90% of the people out there need, including I don't need it half the time. I just use them because I have them, I like them. But my like in between, where everything, that step up that kind of gives you the best of everything, workhorse, a super detail, because this really is the High Performance Plus series. So, which those use the same type of screw-in nozzle, and I'll show you. But these have not had, I have them, I unboxed them, I have not put paint in these yet. So these will be brandy new. So we got our, I want a sticker. We have our quick guide that tells you exactly what you need to know how to airbrush. You don't need anything else. Just read this and you got it. The test spray, because our waters are all tested to make sure they spray right before they go in, unlike most brands that don't. They just send it to you no matter what it does. So that's part of their QC, quality control. And from what I'm told too, now they do it twice. They do it in Japan after the manufacturing, and then they do it again when they come in the States to make sure everything's good. And what these have, this is the screw-in type nozzle. So when you take this off, these are a 0.3, so they're finer than the Eclipses. And that little fluid nozzle there, just that tip, just a tip, unscrews and screws in. So they're more exactly centered. They have a tighter tolerance build, and they do a little bit finer detail, easier. Not the Eclipse don't do detail, but these go that extra step. And for the, you know, what the Eclipse doesn't do, this will take care of the rest. The Micron is just that little bump up. So something in between. These are my go-tos. These are great. And they make a few different ones. So this is the big cup version, the normal cup version. And my other one, that custom that came out of the vault, that was a plus. I believe that was a plus. Yeah, I think so. Oh, maybe it wasn't. They used to make a plus. That has a tall cup. That's the custom series. Then they make one without the cup, which is just you put a drop or two of paint and spray. I don't use it very much because I move too quick and I spill shit. And then they make the in-between model, which is the B. Same deal. Not really a sales pitch guy. I just want to show people these. And like I said, I love using a brand new brush if I can. And this is the B, which I've never had one of these before. This is the first time I've ever had one. These have a small teeny cup. They do not have a cap. There are some 3D print people that make mini caps that go on these, which are cool. They're not quite the same size as the little side feed cups, but you can get caps for it. But same thing, same head. So these are really cool. So you basically have three different. Where did I put that new brush? Where did I put the new one? I just had it, and I lost it. Oh, right here. Too many airbrushes. So those are the High Performance Plus models. All the different variations. And like I said, these are priced right in the middle of the Micron and the Eclipse. They're really, really cool. That test paper that they have, it seems like they're in a lot of guns. Yeah, so they are. Awada does it to all of them. A lot of the brands don't. And some of the brands that do, I'm not even sure they're actual test ones. I don't know that for. But yeah, some do, some don't. But let's put a quick connect on this. Which, since I don't really use the A right now, let's put that aside. We'll put you aside. Just a few airbrushes over here. Just a couple in the arsenal. And that's up here. We got more on the shop side. Another full rack. But yeah, then you got the ultimate workhorse, big Eclipses. These are the 0.5s. All right, enough about that stuff. Let's get to painting. Okay, So I finally came up with an idea about an hour ago for here. Something I thought about already. And I've already vectored it. And I'll decide two ways. You guys can tell me how you want me to do it. So, silhouette, kind of a gothic church steeple thing. You know, I looked up different graphics of like Scottish graveyards and churches and gothic things, and found a bunch of images and just did a quick trace silhouette of what's out there. Nothing crazy. But I figure I'll do this in a level, so you have the black, which would be the lights the first way because we backlit, and then the castle will have some side light. So this is all freehand. We can do this two ways. We can take this, and I can cut the levels and go cut dark, cut the next one, and hand cut. And I'll show you that. Or the same process, depending on time. I already have it vectored. And we can just lay it on and go from there. I've already picked out the darkest one. It's the same file. They line up to each other. So you can do it either way. If you decide to follow along and try to do this. Like, I'm not selling this sketch, obviously, as a download. Maybe I'll put this vector up. Maybe I'll just put this up for members. So members, you guys can have this for free. Who's into that? Are you into that? That could be a cool little thing. Because maybe I'll eventually make this part of my graveyard download pack. But maybe I'll put this up for members tomorrow, and I'll let you guys know. But yeah, well, let's see how we do time-wise here, and if I'm doing good time, I can cut this by hand and show you that process. At least I'll show it to you anyway. But I'll probably end up using the mask because it'll be quicker, and it's just a silhouette. So that's the plan. That's what I'm going to do. All right. Anyone got any questions, comments, suggestions? Hope everyone has a good week. You think it would be cool? I think it would be cool as backing. Okay. Okay, Mike. Yeah, so now if you had started with a black panel, then we could have laid this on first, then unmasked on the way, but because we went the other way, we're going to go the other way. We're talking about that. All right, so we left off last week. We were in the stage of darkening up the reds, which is cool. What would you use as the 0.5? So I used the 0.5. That was my t-shirt gun. So these are my t-shirt guns. I have a whole rack of these with like a 12 color rack. So these are great. This is what we use for t-shirts and murals. 0.5 is nice because you can run the paint completely unreduced, the straight Createx out of the bottle. You can run ETAC straight out of the bottle. 60 psi, 80 psi range, and that's how you get those super tight, fast lettering. What I use these for here in the studio is when I'm doing my models and scale models, I keep a black and white here, and I use that for priming. I'll prime with a black, and then I'll do what's called a zenithal highlight, which is a directional spray with white. That's what I use them for. So that's the nice thing about having those. The price range on the plus guns, I don't know. I don't know what they are off the top of my head. I want to say they're in the mid to upper twos, 240 to 290 range, as opposed to the microns where they're in the fours. 4 to 5 for the microns. They're never 7. You see at retail 7, but you never actually buy them at 700. That's like manufacturer suggested retail versus what the average sell is. Yeah, Brian, I think they're right around there. If you go on to Coast, coastairbrush.com, they'll have the price range on there. Never look at Iwata's site because the way big brands are supposed to work is the brands themselves don't sell to public. So they have the manufacturer suggested retail price. That's what MSRP is. So say it's $400. They're never going to sell for $400 unless you buy direct from the manufacturer, which is why they do that, so the middlemen can actually make money. So that's why Coast and Spray Gun and places like that, they're direct resellers. They can sell direct at the price they sell it for. So whatever they buy it for, they sell. And they usually sell it for, say something's $400, they're probably selling it for $325 or something like that. Which, most companies don't even let you buy direct, but a lot of companies are doing it now, but you have to pay full retail. And that's kind of how pricing structures work. Because if you didn't, you would just go... So Ryan said they're going around 200. Yeah, so I think it depends on which one you do, which cup. 200 to 240 range I think, is where they sit. It depends on the configuration of the box. If it has a bottle in it, if it has other stuff attached to it, it comes with the hose, it doesn't come with the hose. There's a few variations, obviously. But yeah, so yeah, whereas an Eclipse is around the 140 to 170 range, and I think these are in the 200 to 240, 270 range. You know, so they're nice in between is where they run. I would always check Coast. Always check Coast Airbrush. Careful on Amazon, because even on Amazon sometimes you don't know if you're really getting a genuine, so just be careful. There's been a lot of people buying false crap on Amazon. All right, let's break out this Plus. Mixed up my paint. What I'm going to do first, I can do it a couple different ways. And this has been sitting for a week, so I'm not sure it'll pull off well. I want to break out some highlights, and I want to actually put some yellow in there, like this fire source is lighting his cheek. So let's see, even after a week, yes, even after a week, you can still get in here and erase. Now, illustration colors would erase a little easier. Wicked is a little stronger. So you can erase right back in and get those nice details. Oops, sorry about the switchy switch. Yeah, so now when I do yellow, those are going to be super bright. Or I could go with a white. So a lot of times what I'll do is I'll do this kind of sharp erasing. And just bring stuff like that out. See how that just brings that highlight out? Mike, thank you so much. Appreciate that. Thank you. Mike Zabo, am I pronounced that right? Or Sabo or Zabo? I don't know if it's supposed to be with a Z or an S. It's got both. But thank you very much. So like I said, a lot of times I'll do this erasing with this for the kind of harsh stuff. And then I'll go in with the airbrush and kind of soften them up. But now's a good time to do it before the paint gets too heavy. Once the paint gets too heavy, you can't really erase anymore. Thomas, I heard you got hacked. Thomas Thompson, go to Temu. Yeah. Don't go to Temu. Unless you want really trash, because that's what you're getting. Basically, there's a couple brushes on Temu. There's the $10 cheapy cheaps. Then there's the $50 ones that look better in the box, but they're really a $10 cheap piece of crap. You're better off getting a dollar store plastic airbrush. Why did you make him pink? He's not pink. He's starting out in a red tone over white. And what you do is you bring those tones up. Okay, you don't start with bright red. You start with bright red, you have nowhere to go. So by starting with a light reddish pink, you start darkening those up, because when you look at a red face, if you were to pause it in Photoshop, start clicking around all the highlight areas, all the highlight areas are going to be in the pink tones, or they're going to have an orangey tone. But once you go to full red, you have nowhere else to go. So it's like when you start doing flesh tone, you don't start with the darkest flesh color. You start with light peaches and light skin tones, and then you start working it up from there. That's kind of the whole meaning of being light to dark. You start with your lights and then go to dark. It's just like if you're painting a black dog, you don't start with black. Thomas, I figured you were joking, but I just had to make the same point. But if you ever want to start to figure out how to break down a character, like a person's, like, whatever image you're going to work with. If you have Photoshop or GIMP or something like it, they all have a color picker tool. Open that color picker tool up. You want full red, you never go full red. Exactly. You know exactly what I'm referring to. Yeah, so if you bring up a Photoshop picker and look at, like, a black dog, you'll only find pure black in the longest areas, the darkest areas. But all the highlight areas are going to be bluish, gray, lightish, dark blue. Same thing. You bring up, like, a well-lit Hellboy, all those highlights are not going to be red. They're going to be some form of pinkish, orange, whatever the lighting in the room is. So that's why we're starting here. The big mistake I would make when I started out, and most people starting out, they would just load bright red, like solid red to their airbrush and go to town. And you can do it, but you only have so many steps that you can go through before you go all in. Before you go full red. If you don't have one of these, yes, you can use an eraser stick. You can even moisten the tip a little bit, and so you can kind of come in and you can smooth out that. And by doing this, you won't get any of that blue shift. But on this, you won't really get the blue shift too much on this. Maybe we're going to get a pink shift, which is fine. But I'm going to show you why I'm doing this bright right now. Okay. It should be also. Basically what I'm doing is wherever the light's hitting from the cigar glow is going to be hitting this side of the face. Okay, so that's what I'm looking at. I'm just bringing that out. And if you want, you can bring it out more. I know Steve did like a neon red. And if a good example, pick up Darth Vader's lightsaber in a Photoshop, bring it in and find pure red. You won't find it in a lightsaber. You'll find it maybe in the backgrounds or reflections, but not the lightsaber itself. It's going to be mostly pink, sometimes a little orangey tone or peach color to the glow. So see, especially if you're not good at freehanding white, this is really good to do. And if you don't want to use pure white, you can use this here, which is Titan Buff. So this is really good in a black and white. Are you planning on underlighting? Well, it's all going to be side lit because this is the glow. So it's all going to be kind of coming up at him like this, which means we'll start seeing, and that's what I'm talking about now, you'll start seeing a little bit of glow in here. Ooh, first strokes of the new brush. So the nice thing about the Titan White, it doesn't go, it's not super bright right off the gate. It's a nice, you don't get that, if you're doing a black and white, this color's the best. So I can soften that stuff up. Make this glow. Soften that up a little bit, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to start. Are you planning on doing an underlighted? Yeah, This is kind of one because it is kind of that same. We're doing a kind of an uplight. That's why I'm putting the highlights here under the cheek. Normally you wouldn't. But yeah, I'd like to do a more uplit. And that was kind of the point of this one. You know, when you were asking about this one. You know, this is being lit from behind and kind of glowing through. And that's why, you know, the shading, this under here would normally be dark. And this would be brighter up here. So it's everything's flipped when you do it this way. You know, the gaps between the teeth are bright and the skull isn't. So it's a nice way to flip it around. So yeah, so we're going to go in here, make these eyes a little whiter. Because what we're going to do is I'm going to put a yellow glow in here now. Ooh, this brush is nice. Nice and nice. That's the nice. Well, there's nothing like a brand new brush. Get that. But see that tighten buff, it just really, it wakes everything up. I'm starting to get good at understanding normal shading. I want to start trying difficult. Yeah, no, and definitely get there. Don't jump off normal shading right off the bat. Really keep going on that, because just do more advanced versions of normal shading and then start bringing in lighting, obviously. Just don't guess at it. Try to work in from good light sourcing. If you go to tattoosmart.com, the skull reference from this, the skull reference that I referenced from this glow, they have a whole set of skulls that have all the different backlighting. And I don't know if I have it here, if I can show it. Yeah, let me show it to you. If you have, and it works, I'm pretty sure the brush set is for Procreate and other programs, like PC programs. But I have it in Procreate here. I'll show you the brush set. New screen size. I'm going to go black canvas here. Okay. So I'm pretty sure. Where is this? That's Skull and Roses. Battle damage. Pile of skulls. So this set, as it's loading, because I haven't used it in forever. Has everything you need. So, see, that's an orange version of it. You can go red. Then I can come back in. I'm going to undo. If I can undo. Oh, god damn it. Okay, let's go undo again. I don't know what's happening. It's glitching out. I haven't used this in a little bit. I think I have the resolution up super high. How do you know where the light source is coming from? What was Iron's choice? Well, I know from this one because this is the glow I'm working with. I'm working from this cigar being bright and this glow source here. So therefore the light is traveling this way and traveling up. Yeah, I think I need to update my app or shut it down because okay, so let's see if I can find another one. Okay, so here's a good one. So see this brush here? It's looking up. You can change the size of it in there. Oh, you know what it is? I put the screen protector on. I think the screen protector just sucks. Maybe. But yeah, so this is a great kind of program to use because you can get all different versions. And on white, it has everything else. So it's really, really good. I'll mess with that again. I've shown that before. There's some other programs. You know, light sourcing is important. You always want to kind of find out where you're coming from. So typically you do like top-down light source. So you look at a skull like this. Where's the light source coming from? Okay? There's obviously a hot white light source coming from straight above. And that's what's hitting here and here and here and here and here. There's a blue light source over here, kind of to the front coming in. That's what's giving this blue reflection. And it's funny because when you look on camera, if I look straight at it, I see a different light source than you see because the camera's coming up. So what you're seeing is different from what I'm seeing. Okay, so you got to figure out, I'm seeing this because I'm looking straight at it, but the camera is above, so you're seeing that. That's why having these examples are really good because you move it around, the light moves, and you start to understand where things are. How things are dark. Yep. And so if I was using, which I don't have a lighter on me. If I had a red light, I can light that up like this, and it's going to shine that way. So, yep. So that's kind of how that's one way to figure it out. There's a lot to it, but that's kind of the basic rundown. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to play off that. So I'm going to make sure I have a bright color for that yellow to pop off of. And I'll probably go back in and do the fur, the hair. I probably should do that now and then edge light it. Let me do that. I'll add it in the end. I'm going to keep that color in there. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I want to get some of this yellow on here. So I got a transparent yellow that I mixed up. And that's going to be here. Obviously it's going to be more red and orange, but I'm going to start with that lightest color and watch. Now I'm going to start hitting that. This will change the red a little bit orangey, so you got to be careful. I'm mostly keeping it it's just kind of a wash and a glaze coat. I'm not flooding the whole area. So now you're starting to see that. So actually, I can put some of the glow with in the beard. So see how that just woke everything up, and now I'm starting to get that lighting effect. A little bit more dynamic. Maybe there's a little glow back here. Happy little glow. You know, and you could actually put like, say there's a brighter kind of hot center to it. We'll add more smoke in later, but let's just say there's some. I wish I could bid on this. Yeah, I get it, man. Keep things rocking and rolling, man, and make some of that side hustle money eventually, and you'll be able to buy what you want. I couldn't afford to bid on it right now either. See, now that's looking cool. And it's also kind of took the pink out of it, right? There's still some pink there, but your eye doesn't really go to that anymore. And if you want, there's also a good time I can dump that, leave the residual. Now I can go with some orange. Rob, what's going on, man? And I can kind of... This also a transparent wicked orange. I can kind of bridge those, that orange to red. And that's looking good. I think that's cool. Play with money. So this would be cool. Now, dump that. Yeah, I wasn't sure I was going to get to the background design tonight because I really got to it late. Busy week because I did that Captain America at the beginning of the week, and then that's part of a larger van. So that was the hood of the van, and the van was down in Lynn, Massachusetts, which is closer to Boston than I am. But Lynn's a horrible place to get in and out of. So I was down there yesterday, and then I did all the realistic fire, blue real fire, touch-ups, and recreations on the van. I painted this van a few times over the years, and it got hit, so we had to do the passenger side and some other pieces of the fire. It's been a busy week. Busy week. All right. Okay, again, we got this Titan buff. If I want now, I could go back in. I could put some bright highlights in. Like just center. It's not really necessary. I'm just doing it because it's in the brush now and I can always tone over it. A little texture effects with some details. If you say details enough, maybe we'll get a... Why are there yellow on the ponytail behind the head? Well, because it's kind of come off to the side, and this is gonna be black anyway. So it's just what I did here. When I go over the stuff, it's not just gonna be white poking through. Okay. I don't want pure white poking through, so I just put a little bit of color there. And maybe it sticks, maybe it doesn't. You know, because let's assume there's other, you know, once we put the castle in here, the castle is going to feel like, or the church and the cemetery stone, that's going to make it look like there's basically a lot of fire and stuff going on, and then I'm going to have this backlit red. It's going to give you that feel like there's fire going on in the background, so there's a little bit of fire everywhere. You know, the one thing, this is where the more you practice shading you understand, is you have your main focal light source. So the cigar isn't the only thing lighting him. That's what's lighting here. Okay, but there's more of that red glow fire going on in the scene. That's your secondary light. Okay, your background light. I think it would be, so your key light, if I'm thinking of lighting terms correctly, your key light is like the direct key that's coming right at like something. Your fill light is like the background fill, what's going on in the space. And then I forget what they call the next lighting. And then you have secondary bounce light and things like that. Once this is clear, oh yeah, when this clear coat is gonna pop. Definitely gonna pop. All right. And this afternoon I recorded and I was painting some of the tabletop miniature that I'm working on, which is from Warhammer 40K. That's on tabletop airbrush. I put a little short on that. But I recorded that for like a couple hours today. And the process of doing that, I made a little short out of it, and then I'm going to do more in-depth how-to on that as well. As long as I find the time. Okay. So, I am going to go to the Bordeaux next, which we talked about this. It's a very winey maroon, basically. Which is really, really cool. So if you look at it by itself, it's basically like a maroon with a kind of a purplish hit. And over the red, like in the teeth, see, get a nice natural dark without it going black. If I use black in here, yeah, it's kind of a brandy wine color, just not a brandy wine candy. So it has that Merlot, deep red wine, Bordeaux type of color. Let me see if I can get in a little tighter here without it going too out of focus. Is that all right, guys? Yeah. So watch right in here. It's really nice for bringing out detail that I can then add black and go one step further. But this is a nice in-between. Because if I went straight to black here, it's just killed. Pure black. Even if I was going to do black here, the black would be cut with red. Which would basically give you a similar color to this. But because it's mixed with black, it gets dead really fast. So I try to avoid it. But you see how fast that goes to almost black. Oh, I'm kind of the same. I know a couple names. I know wine I get pretty messed up pretty fast on, actually. It's funny. I can drink bourbon all night, but wine I get like goofier. It's kind of funny. You see how nice this airbrush, nice smooth daggers. I'm not playing, because it's not a 0.18 like the microns, it's not ramming this more heavy pigmented paint through, so I'm not getting the tip dry or picking the paint as much. I can just go to town. And yes, you can paint with the cap off if you choose. Cap on. This was a discussion earlier today on the airbrush. Like, I forget which channel it was, but airbrush for beginners, answers by professionals, whichever page. I just forget the name off the top of my head. And they showed like a bunch of different air caps and like what's the differences, and the difference is how they look. They don't do anything for the brush. All airbrushes, except for older Pachets and old models, it's this end cap and this makes the spray pattern. Okay, these caps are simply needle protectors. They don't change the atomization or flow. And that airbrush company, Girelli or Giraldi, whatever the hell it's called, they did a video saying, oh, this splinter cap does this and this. And they're trying to show it, and it's like, no, you just... The guy's like a salesman, and it's like, dude, you just paint bad. You don't actually spray different. Every time the brush difference, he's just at a different angle, doing different pressure. These don't do anything other than protect the needle. They don't direct the flow. There are certain brushes that do have it. Usually there's older ones where you have ones that you put a fan cap on that makes a fan pattern, but these don't change the overspray. A crown cap, the only thing a crown cap does is when I go full out and the padding gets wider, the pattern can start to hit these edges and get a little, the overspray can get a little on there. The crown cap lets that breathe a little bit more. Or if you come in and touch the surface, you can't get a vacuum seal that blows back because it doesn't fully go off. How about Skullified Harley Quinn? Yeah, that could be fun. But yeah, so those air caps are just needle protectors. And if the airbrush does rely on how tight or loose an air cap is to change the quality of spray, it's a shitty design. And they put a bunch of O-rings and fitments in there to change. Because their tolerances are so bad, a little half turn, quarter turn will change the relation of the nozzle to the fluid nozzle in the needle, and it'll make it work better or worse depending how the tolerance is. So they can always say, oh, just adjust your needle. Oh, just adjust how tight it is. Because that's its sloppy craftsmanship. Yeah, air caps just stop you from picking the tip dry. Yep. You know. Oh, Mike Manning, thank you for that. Yeah, we hit 13,000 today. We were like 2 shy, and I put up a post up. And there's always that thing, and you'll see a lot of YouTubers do it. They're like, hey, 50% of you statistically don't watch the videos constantly. You don't subscribe. It's true. I look at my stats. Out of like the 2,000 watch hours and 17,000 views or whatever, 20,000 views, it'll only be like 55% are subscribers versus that many people watching. And I think there's still a lot of people that think subscription is paying and it's free. It's memberships that pay. So it is different though, because I think Instagram did a thing where you follow people but you can subscribe on Instagram, and that's a pay subscription like Facebook and Instagram. Now that makes it confusing, because on YouTube, subscribing is it's just so you follow a channel. But yeah. So yeah, so like I said, this is the Bordeaux. And you see and the nice thing is when it hits over the orangey yellow, you get a nice warmer shadow versus if it had black in there, it would die. Start with a sketch, man. The easiest thing to get your bearings is get into Photoshop or even a piece of tracing paper, put the photo down, put a piece of tracing paper on top of it if you're in Photoshop, make it in a layer, and then start identifying the eye sockets and the nose sockets and where they place, and kind of blend that in, to the structure. Like this was, I worked off of various. This one I did a little bit different because I looked at photos, I looked at comics, and I kind of made a composition of multiple sources. So this isn't like tracing over just one sole image. I forget the artist's names. It's heavily based on one of the classic Hellboy artists. Well, I forget his name off the top of my head. So I know, Brian, you were having trouble way back. Understand that light to dark, dark to light. I know we talked about it with fire, as it relates. Fire has a different pattern to it, but this is what it means by like working light to dark. It's I worked from those lighter tones of a painting and kind of built this underlying structure and then started building to the darkers. And that's what it really means in this context. But it changes when you're on a dark canvas versus a light too. The one thing about learning art, when you figure out a rule, the next time you do something, it changes. You know, now, before I keep going too far, I can go... Yeah. I know that's one of the guys I looked up. This might have been from one of his. I don't remember. I looked at so many. So this is an illustration red. This is a little 40-50. So I can go in here. In some of these areas, before I darken them, I can make them more pure red. So I'm not working in that kind of, that pink to a dark. Before I went to the Merlot, I could have done this. But I wasn't really sure yet. So I wanted to kind of test the waters a little bit more. Because light airbrush red over white is going to give you pink. But now I can kind of come in where the red is. And I can hit those before I go to Merlot again. I mean Bordeaux. Merlot, Bordeaux, you know what I mean. I just didn't want to go there too fast and lose that yellow. Because again, once you go to a certain point, now you're kind of can't go backwards. And I'm not working from a photo, you know. It's so dark. I think I did see that. It's so dark I couldn't brighten it up. Yeah, probably because you were working with like oversaturated colors again too fast. It's probably what got you. A lot of times you get dark when you want to get those details right off the bat too fast. You don't let it build slow. So notice what I'm doing is I'm letting it work its way up to those tones. So that's the key. Especially like in here, I didn't put anything down here. So I just made an orange. You know what, these are gonna be brown. But I can put a little of this yellowish orange there now. Just again, so it's not pure white. So if I wanted a pumpkin, you could start with a peach and move up from there. You could start from a yellow and like a yellow orange and move up from there as well. I usually start on mine when I do a pumpkin. I'll probably do one for Halloween season, actually. Yeah, but you could start with a peach and then go to like a bright orange, and then use a brown. You could use a brown over the orange for the deepest. You could actually use a green, wash over the brown in certain areas, where the brown transitions to orange, and you get like the green, a transparent green will make a very cool brownish orange, like, you know, moldy color. If you go back to my old video when I did the Pumpkin Reaper, this guy here, actually I'll bring him up. We're doing show and tell tonight, kids. So if you go back to this video, and I think I did 2 variations of it. This guy here started with like a light transparent orange, and then I did like a brown over the orange in these dark areas, and I did a yellow wash. And then when I did the yellow, I did some bright, and I went over in here because it was green lighting from here. And then the green gets over, and you see it when it goes from green to orange, you get that kind of brownish tone to the orange. It's just a nice hit. And so this is all done with, this is green candies, orange candies, and brown candies. This is pretty much everything. And then we had some black and some white. And that's a very limited palette in here. And the yellow. So you have orange candy. This was all done, I think this was all candies or semi-transparents. It was, oh, Mike, everything's available. Just let me know. This was, yeah. So it was like, this was a black panel. And I believe, so I used opaque white and yellow to do the structure. And then it was candy orange, candy yellow, candy green. I think 2 different candy greens. Or I mixed the yellow and the green together. And then I think I had a light brown to get into this area, just a touch. But yeah, this is a cool piece. This might have been the one I did. I might have did this one at the arts. Oh, I think I did. This was done at the Airbrush Art Circus. I did a video online on it, but I think I sold that. Hello for America, Germany. Thank you. I'm not going to try to butcher and pronounce your name. Nope. I'm trying. Thank you for popping in. Appreciate it. I'm going to be in Germany next year. Speaking of which, good time to do a plug now that reminded me. Where is it? What the hell? Oh. Why did... There we go. Airbrush Days, next May 26th, 1 through the 3rd. I believe it's in Hamburg, Germany. I think we're doing that one, if I'm right. So, yeah, I'm really looking forward to go. Actually, my wife's mother and uncle and parents lived in Germany for years. She went to school there. I think middle school or high school there. So, yeah, looking forward to it. And we have some family over in Switzerland, so we want to pop over there as well. So we'll be there. Okay, so back to the Bordeaux color. Now when I go back into here, now it's going over more red. But I don't have as much contrast here, so I got to be careful. I've lost some of the contrast from the eye of those oranges, but I can bring them back towards the end. Deepen that up a little bit. Do some core shadows here. A little bit of texture in here. And then I got to start working on more pieces for SEMA. I got 2 paintings I got to get done. I already did the first one. That was for Indasa. So I got that done. That was the ground metal koi, which I hope that gets picked to go to SEMA. I didn't realize that when I signed up for it. It has to go through around the judging before it even gets to SEMA. So hopefully I didn't do that to just have it sit at Indasa. Which is still cool if it sits at Indasa in the showroom, but if I do something around SEMA time, I like it to actually go to SEMA, so hopefully it makes it. But still, no direct black yet. No plotter masking. This has all been freehand to this point. I think I used a little bit of shading. For all the guys that say I never freehand, there you go. But even, you know, a lot of guys be tempted, and Brian, you might do this right out, just out of habit. They want, it's black fur, or black beard, black hair, so they go straight to black. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to use the same dark Bordeaux and start to build the structure of the hair. And then I'll add the black over this. And the other thing you can do, if you want a really, like a really cool saturated red, you can always, yeah, and that's why you're, and I'm not saying this to be mean. I'm saying this because good clarification. And that's why you're getting too dark too fast. Your instinct is black hair, let's go to black. And then you might start light, try to darken it, but you only get like, let's say black's only going to give you 3 shades of gradation. If you start within the color palette you're going to be, especially no hair is ever truly black. I think there's a few, like Japanese or Chinese, technically their hair is actually black under a pigment. I think it's just a dark brown. 90% of the world's population and animals, black is not black. Black is a shade of brown. So you're almost better off with doing shades of brown and then working into the black in most cases. Pure black, if used at all, should be one of the last things you reach for. Always think to yourself, every time you're about to grab black or a really dark color, ask yourself, what could I use? What could I use here instead of that? First, before I get there. I'm going too fast. And I was the same way. I came from a t-shirt airbrush background, which was like early tattoo days where you black outlined everything, black, and then you use transparent colors, wash them in, and Bob's your uncle, there you go, there's your design. And it's cool, it works, but what you end up getting is a very cartoony look to it. Like, this is not super realistic either, so I'm not under any delusions that this is anywhere remote to like a photorealism or anything like that. But it's got that nice style color, and it just builds nice and slow. But if I went to black already, I'd be done. Like, it could still look kind of cool, but you wouldn't have this. Could you use... Yeah, you could. Yeah, so Carson, you could totally use a sepia tone, brown. Then the Bordeaux, then the black. Totally do that, especially with these orangey kind of glows. And so I have this orange in here to kick off of first. And I'm just doing quick dagger strokes. It doesn't have to be anything super crazy. This is why you practice your dagger strokes, kiddies. So you can go through like this and just do. And I'll shade in here because I'll let the black come in. But see how now it's starting, that yellow is still under here. And it's going to be almost black back here. So I'm just kind of doing the outer. I'm trying not to do too much here because I want to keep that. Want to keep some yellow in there. Every stroke is a dagger stroke right here. So if you keep an eye on my finger, I wish I could do... I wonder if my side shot will show it better. So watch... Keep an eye on what my finger's doing. Every stroke it's going in and out like this to create a dagger stroke. So it's open and closing, open and closing, open and closing. Now I'm doing soft dagger strokes from a distance to kind of fill in. One direction. I'm only painting on the upstroke on these. Now I'm going to fill this in. So these I'm painting dagger this way, dagger this way, dagger this way, dagger that way. So it's thick to thin, thick to thin this way, thick to thin this way. Now some of them I'm going to go to this. I'm going to go paint this way, this way, this way. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's thick to thin one direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Those are the slower ones. Now this way I'm doing them both. I'm doing a dagger stroke each way. And then here we'll start doing kind of the knot in his hair. Changing directions. So thousands of beach scene paintings with freaking palm trees. This is why I can do this so effortlessly. It's just practice. Western Mascara Loxford. The glow in the cigar is blinding. Well, that's the point. That's what I'm trying for. And we'll eventually get the cigar painted in. And then that'll be the hot spot. And it'll be side lit here. And for those just joining who didn't see the beginning, what I designed for the back was this. Okay, so that's kind of going to go like here. And off to him. And we'll silhouette that, but it'll still have this red glow, like fiery background kind of behind it. Like the whole back is glowing. That's kind of the plan, and I ended up vectoring it so we can do it by hand or we can do it plotted depending what time we have, but I think we're going to do it plotted. So we'll do it in a 3-step. So we got the black for the darkest, and then we'll do another black that's a little bit darker, and then slightly dark, which maintains some of the red glow like on the church. Oh. And then I can always cut this if I want to backlight it, like this fire behind it. Oh man, what's going on? I didn't know that was your new name. I saw Cheese Grits and Nikos. I didn't know Western Massacre Lockport. Is that your channel name now? Because if it is, you can message me later. Remind me. I gotta check out your channel, and get on there. And I apologize since I haven't done it already. But again, so Brian, if you go back to the beginning when you asked me why is there yellow on there, it's just there to let this color bounce off something that isn't white. And maybe this underside still catches a little yellow. Let's get the kind of... jugular is coming down. Under the ear. Most of the structure is built in this stage, in this tone. Oh, very cool. So everyone on this channel, make sure you pop over to Weston Massacre Locksport and get on his channel and check his stuff out. He's been a big supporter of our channel and my channel for a while. I think I have enough in here for now. So see, now he doesn't have that pinky tone anymore, right? Now he looks more red. We'll still get some highlighting going on. But still, no black. I made a t-shirt last night. Oh, very cool. So let me just show you now with this Bordeaux what you can do. So this is purple. Now watch this. This is just a deep purple. This deep purple of this Bordeaux is pretty much gonna look black. So watch this. Watch in here. This is purple. See how that looks black? Does that look black? But that color is that. But because it's over that Bordeaux, it looks black. Again, my instinct was to go to black, but if I go to straight black, it's going to get killed. So look, I can even darken that more. And the nice thing is, if you get this purple over the red, like here, it just cools it off a little bit with that little purplish blue, and it still works. Whereas black instantly kills it. I remember even in high school art, we did projects, and you'll get this in like college level art. They'll just take black right out of your palette. And if you really want to get yourself off, just put the lock the black up somewhere. No, you almost never need black unless you're doing cartoon outlines. You can always do a color. So Brian, you know what you should do? And it's going to be hard. Take your black, lock it away. Make sure you have to go get it if you ever want to use it. Try to get to a near black without it. Because look, if I go in here now, look. This hair starts to look black. I remember I learned that when I was doing a Bengal tiger, this kid's wall mural when I was younger. Oh my god, if I did that wall mural today for a kid's room, I'd probably be on the news. But I remember doing the Bengal tiger, you did all the fur and all the stripes in orange, like a dark orange, and then darkened it, and then all the black stripes of tiger were done with purple over that orange, and that's what gave you a natural black. So again, I haven't used any straight black in here at all. Your next project, Brian, you do, don't use black. I just bought a huge bottle of black. So use black for doing black and gray work only. Like when I do a lot of my paintings that are black and white, use your black for that. Actually, I would mix a little white and do different tones of gray. And you should take your black, especially with super opaque, mix up 3 versions. One that's solid opaque, one that's got 75% clear added to it, like a clear paint, and then one that's 50% clear paint. So you have a weak black, a medium black, and a strong black. And that's how you can do a good black and white photo, like work in those ranges. Same thing with your whites. I do white and I do grays mixed in like that. Use black on cartoony stuff, but mix different versions and try mixing a color into your black, like most of my black. Even my black I have mixed up here, I have a little purple mixed in it. And see, even this purple over the orange, look. That purple over the orange looks black. I think one of my next workshops I won't do it in Germany, I don't think. Maybe I will. I'm gonna I'm not gonna have any black on the palette. So you can't even try to use it. But see how I'll leave that negative space? Yeah, there should be no place on a Harley Quinn, none at all, to use black. Can't think of one spot. Maybe if they got a black outfit on, but even that, I'd barely use it. Yeah, like I said, there should be. Brian, do you have Photoshop or GIMP or anything like that for photo editing software? So if you do, what I want you to do, I'm assuming you're not working from memory to paint Harley Quinn. I'm sure you're painting from a photo. Hopefully you're working on something decent resolution. Bring that photo up and look at all the areas like next to colors. Anything but background or something like deep armpit, underpit. Look anywhere that's really dark that you think you'd put black in, and use the eyedropper tool on it. I guess I can guarantee you're not going to find almost any pure black that goes to the all black on the CMYK. Well, you have a phone, don't you? There's simple little apps and photo apps where you can do color picking. You can get a color picking app actually, which you can take a photo of something and you can like select areas and look at color. You got to really do that or you're going to be stuck for a long time. Look at photos, break them down, and start to understand what you're missing. As much as I practiced younger, I started getting really good at three-dimensional shading once I went into like a program like Photoshop or any of those free programs. You can even do it with Procreate if you have an iPad or Sketchbook Pro. They're free. I mean, they're virtually free, if not free right now. And you can just put a photo in there, take the color picker tool, and pick a color. So look, all these dark areas, I was going to be tempted to go in black. I'm not. Hey man, have a good one. Thank you for popping in. What time we got here? 9:35. I think we can finish this tonight. Since next week's October, we should start doing some more Halloween stuff. Leave some Halloween ideas. I've done pumpkins, I've done reapers. Thought about cell shading everything to get it black. Cell shading's tricky. So if you do cell shaded work, you should not be doing any freehand. Cell shaded should be either done with markers or heavily masked off areas. And then your black outlines can be very cartoony. So yeah, cell shading requires very crisp edges to pull it off well, so it looks nice. I've done some cell shaded. I remember when I did a painting of Alan Pastrana in anime style with cell shading. Predator stirring up a pot for Halloween. I've already done a Predator though. Okay, so let me get some brown in here so we can just finish off that, and then I can get I think we're good enough here where I gotta finish this. I can start the castle. So this is just a light brown for his trench coat. Like this is going to be almost black in here, this fold, but I'd rather do it over the actual color of the coat and then over white. Ooh, a banshee. Ooh, there we go. That's cool. I like the idea of that. See, that's nice. So Brian, what you could do is, see how I'm doing this color here? I'm going to take my black. Okay, this is black. It has a little purple in it. And I'm just going to put a drop. I'll do 2 drops. 2 drops of black into my brown. Now watch. I don't mean to single out Brian, everyone, but he's asked a lot of great questions, and he's been coming along really good with his work. And if I can get him up to speed on some things, sure to help others. So now look, that is a much darker brown of that same brown. Now I can come into here with it. And I can build towards that black. Mike Manning, thank you, sir. Much appreciated. And now we'll use the same brown on the cigar. We'll just do some wrap. Brian Moore, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Ooh, a mummy could be cool. A mummy, a banshee. I like those two right now. Mummy and banshee are good contenders. Okay. I think we're good. Okay, we'll put a little look. We'll put a little brown over that hair. Yeah, that works. I think I'm trying to brighten up the ISO on this camera a little bit. That's too bright. That's too dark. For me, the brown. For me, brown has look of muddy. Yeah, it's muddy right now. But it's kind of it's a warm brown because now I can start darkening it. Again, if I was to take that purple that I used as opposed to adding black to it, now I can start carving it in darker. And then I gotta light it. It needs some lighting. Because I think what it actually could use now, because I'm not loving it yet, but sometimes it happens. You don't love it yet. Oh, Gary, thank you, sir. We got a bid from Mr. Shees, a 200. Thank you, Gary. I owe Gary a bunch of paintings. I still gotta get him the turtle, the flag, and the alien, I believe. I'm slacking on getting my paintings out, guys. I apologize. I gotta get paintings out to Honey. Oh, and I haven't seen... There was a Dave the Bug Gregory around at all. Because he bid on the... Which painting was it? Oh, the eagle with the claw. I haven't heard from him yet on that, so that might become available if I don't hear from him in the next week or two. So what I'm going to do is I got to brighten this edge. I'm going to use the Titan buff. Kind of get... I'm hoping this works here. To kind of get the folds catching some light. I'm not working from any reference here, so I don't have much to go by. Let me see if I have... Oh, really cool. This is like a fabric-y stencil. Ooh. Oh, that kind of works. Gets a little bit of... It's like a denim-y fabric soft stencil I found. I think I found this at Hobby Lobby. Yeah. Didn't I stop the bidding? So, yeah, you did. Yeah, Gary. So if that doesn't go through, if I don't hear from him, I sent him a couple of emails. We'll talk. If anyone knows, I don't know his actual social. I think I just have an email. I'll try to get in touch with him. Yeah, we'll just get this carved out a little bit better. And yeah, that'll look better, because now the highlights will get on it. And while I'm here, might as well kick up a few of these while I have the Titan buff in here. Usually I save that to the end. Oh no, afford a penny. Yeah, man. Like I said, a lot of weeks I can't afford my paintings. Oh, that's a nice glow, right? Okay, let's try to get this, oh, do I still have the yellow in here? Oh, I still have the yellow in here. Good. Ooh, that got muddy. Yeah, makes the brown. I have to work on that. That needs some work. That might get pretty silhouette-y if I needed to. Ah, my paper towel roll. Got it. What about a Skullified kangaroo? That's kind of fun, actually. That's the nice thing about skulls. You can do anything with them. But then I always get the, why do you always paint skulls? Because I damn like them. They're fun to paint. You know, when you get good at painting skulls, you also get good at doing portraits. I didn't get good at portraits work until I did skulls. Alright, let's lay this background in. Alright, so, again, for those just joining, I pulled up this, kind of messed around in Photoshop, messed with some contrast, messed with a bunch of stuff, and then I did a quick vector on it, 3-color vector. So we have like a black, a dark gray, and a light gray. And then I took that, I basically did that first in Photoshop, rough, and then I went into Illustrator and did a quick vector trace. This is a very rare case where you use a vector trace, but you limit to 3-color, you ignore white, and you get a pretty clean vector. I mean, it's not super clean, but I don't want it to be. It just makes a great, great silhouette. Mike Stanton, didn't you bid 200 earlier? I don't think Mike bid. I'll look back, but I don't think Mike... If he did, I didn't catch it. So right now I only know of Gary's, but if Mike's was first, and Mike would have the $200 bid, and Gary would have to go above it. If someone wants to scroll back for me, if you can, let me know. So right now I have Gary at 200. I usually go back through the feed and verify things anyway. Oh, okay, so that was Gary. Thank you. Yep. Good. Just want to make sure. It is written. So it is written. Oops. Got water on that. Just. Okay, so I got the vector here. It's going to go right here in the corner. Where's Warlock? Warlock would always keep track of bids for me when he's here. Well, not would. He always does when he's here. If any one of the members here... Oh, and I haven't done my members plug yet. Thank you to all my Down Dirty Tricksters for all the continued support. All my 2-year green skulls. All my over a year gold skulls. And everyone after that in the red. We got some newbies on. And I want to thank you all for the years of support. It's awesome. The channel keeps growing and growing. And that makes it easier. So if anyone's interested, you know, opens up to members only. You can message me on the side. I can add moderators into the channel that can help me moderate. You know, in case you get spam or people doing shit, you can actually become a moderator of the channel during the feed. And I can rotate through guys who are interested, but I don't want to do it if people aren't interested. So if you are, message me on the side, and that way I can put someone up for it. And that might help out. I can track bids and things like that for me. Would be really, really helpful. Okay. Hinge technique. Pop that on. Definitely hit that like button, share, and if you guys could, please, if you're into scale model building, tabletop gaming, D&D figures, anything like that, I'm going to be doing more content regularly. Trying to do more regularly on my tabletop airbrush channel. So go over, check that out. Just look up YouTube tabletop airbrush. You'll come across it. And that would be super awesome and helpful to me. Because I don't think I can do live feeds. There's only like 32 members, 32 subscribers right now. It's a brand new channel. And I don't think I can do live streams until you hit 100. And I got 13,000 here. So if I can get some of you guys over there, that'd be great. Okay, so there we go. System locking off. Now this is where you go to black, Brian, because this is a silhouette. So this is where we can use pretty much a solid black. I do have a little purple and red mixed in here, but so this is pretty damn near black. So keep this simple. Again, when you're doing coats like this, don't flood it. And I can leave a little bit off to the side here. Like it's catching a little glow. Oof, need some refreshment. Okay, so what's next? Now I gotta look. So I did this stage. Now I gotta look for the other pieces. So that's here, here, and that's it. And then I pull the rest. So this makes it easier to kind of see, because it's hard to see right now. And this is still kind of drying, but I can pull that out. That looks good. And then in between here, I can pull this out. Oh, this was supposed to be removed. Hold on. I missed this one. There's a little dark window there I need to hit first. Okay. Now. Be down here like this. Okay, think that, and it goes up to here, and that I think is up to there, and that I think is it. Yeah. Okay. So now what I got to do is two things you could do here. You could add more reducer and soft blend it, or you can make this more transparent, which is what I like to do. So make this black more transparent without reducing. What do you do? What do you do? What do you do? Transparent base, 4004. You can use UVLS too. So now I'm going to put that in here. Like cut it in half. This is going to make the black weaker. I could have used Bordeaux here. But I want to step. Okay, so now this black, see how more transparent it is? It takes a lot more coats to get it to go. So now I can do here, kind of light coats, let the air hit it. Let it dry. Because if I go here, it just makes that blacker. It's like using our candy overlay. You could use a candy black as well. But I'm just going to take the same color and just make it more transparent by adding a transparent base. So it doesn't reduce it to be thinner, it just makes it more transparent. So that should work. And now we take the final piece off gently. Carefully remove all of it. And this is going to be simple, but you should have a decent wow factor. Silhouettes done right can really do a lot. Actually. I just came with us an hour ago, so I don't know where everything is. I think that's it. There's some more over here. Oh, so this, oh, that's right, this black I didn't. Hold on a second. Hopefully this works. I think it needs to be a little darker. I think I just went a little. So I still want it dark, but I want it to have like more different tones to it. Like it's silhouetted, but it has a little bit of glow. Let that dry. Now what I like to do is I want to try to see how to hand cut this so I can do like a back glow out of it. Let's see if that works. Actually, while that's drying, we put this to the side. Oh, there's the original sketch. Oh, what could go wrong? Yep. What could go wrong? Alright, so now, because I print this 1-to-1, like I always do, to my vectors, we should be able to get a nice, fairly accurate registration. Of this silhouette. Which if you're on a black panel, you'd be going this way. You'd be doing the silhouette using the panel itself. I can cut well, not as good as Steve Leahy. And no one I've seen, man, Kiwi Terry, for those of you who knew him, when he did a paper cut stencil, it was like gold, man. He was so good. Like, he could cut the shadows out of a complex piece. I remember when he did one of the scenes from, like, it was the ad scene for Sons of Anarchy with all of them fighting. And by the time he was done cutting his first pass out, You could have just sprayed black and walked away from the painting. It was so good. Like, it had so much story in it just from that. Okay, that's one side. Oh yeah, no man, Kiwi was one of the best human beings I ever knew. In talent, like crazy. He's someone I wish I had a piece from. I have one of his airbrushes that was sent to me after he passed. But man, I'd love to have one of his originals. Oh, it's almost 10 o'clock. I gotta try to wrap this up. It's done enough where this is gonna be done. Gary is the higher bidder right now. And we'll add a couple of little tweaks to this afterwards before I finish it off and send it out. Which is why Gary's always so patient, because he knows I usually put in a good hour or two more into my pieces. Usually. There we go. I watched one of 5 at 5 where Rhino jumped over Mike. Oh yeah, no, there's a lot of those videos. We got a ton of those. Yeah, I posted that up the other night. I shared that. Oh man, we had some good times. Me and Mike always roomed together too, so yeah, we had fun. All right, let's see what this looks like. Boom, that adds something, doesn't it? Nope, I didn't pull everything off. I missed a couple things. First time using it. There's a couple little pieces over here I missed. Couple little things. A little extra cuts I didn't take off. Say that wakes it up. Now I got to up the contrast on him and get him a little darker. But before we do that, let's take this color here. Let's put this up and just give it a little. Just a little extra glow. Now I should be able to wash this with yeah, the only thing is that's really bold and he's not now, so now I got to get the darks in. This is where I start getting the dark blacks in there to really get the contrast. Kind of balance it out, because right now it's weighted too heavy to this side. I have to mix some candy to make this happen. And maybe this just messes it up, and I'm a failure. Could also happen. Everyone have a good one. Thanks for popping in, hanging out. Yeah, that's better. Let's get some pure red over here. And now we're gonna... Ooh. I'm going to mix that black with a little purple. This collar here. You can get, whoops. Let's get this black in this. So this is that pure black, Brian. Now I'm going in for the hardcore stuff. Really balancing it out. Making sure I got good contrast. But you can see how strong pure black gets. You know, I can even add to this cemetery with some little ones and have it like a little cemetery just kind of blends right into him now instead. See, now that collar just becomes part of the scene because I didn't like the way it was sitting there. Now it just turns in to a flow. Same thing here. We'll get this in. This is where the black is fun, because now it just everything is set up for it. See, if you look back 3 minutes, this was really heavy. This wasn't. I'm gonna fix this too. The back of his head can be in a silhouette because it's furthest away from the light. His horns are kind of cast in the light back, so that's going to create a shadow. Same thing in here. We'll do this. Very little. Now watch in here in the eye. That looked really black before. Now watch how much almost pure black it does. Just sends it home. But you gotta wait. You gotta wait till you're ready for it, and then it's gonna do its job. You could overdo it any minute though, so you still gotta keep stopping and looking. Gotta fix this color over here. And do this. Get that cigar. We can even tidy up these, and we can add some. We'll add some bats. You know what? Cemetery continues. Just take your time, ma'am. If you're live painting at my speed, I got over 4 hours into this, plus development and figuring things out. So don't be rushing it. Get some red in this collar and just kind of tone it in. Gary, what color should we do a pinstripe on this? What are you thinking? Should it just be like a bright red? What color can we do? We could do an orange. I want orange pinstripe, rough pinstripe. Gary, what do you think? Like bright orange. Yeah? I'm gonna give Gary a second. Do I have purple? I can do purple. Let's see if purple works. I've been really digging these paint marker rough stripes lately, so I hope you do, because I dig it. These are just Posca paint markers. So I'm riding across the tape on one side so it gets crisp. Then we'll do some rough on the other side, like here. I just think it's a new thing I've really enjoyed doing lately. It gives my paintings, I think, just a different look. Oops. I'll pull off the stripes here. There's still some mask over there. Oh yeah, that's looking cool. Yeah, it looks cool. It does. Gary knows what he wants, and Gary knows what works. He looks at enough really cool paintings from Mike and everyone. He's got a good feel for it. I think I'm gonna call it done, guys. Try these paint markers. Should I put too much on those sides? That's fine, and blow it away. I gotta experiment with that more. Doing the Poscas and blowing the paint around. I did that in the Alien, it looked awesome. That's a good way to put it. But he definitely has the eye for art and loving it. And this is going to look awesome cleared. That looks so good. I think it needs a little more purple across the top, so I'll fix that once everything's dry. Maybe a little bit more across the bottom, and I'll clean up those edges. But all in all, I think that worked out pretty good. You know, I like how this is just subtle, and you can see a little bit of the glow on the side of the church. And then this ended up going really cool. Yeah, worked out really good. I'm happy with it. Let's see it from a different angle. Yeah, that's going to look cool. Definitely a fun piece. Definitely worked out cool. I like it. I dig it. Oops. I did the wrong. This was the reference image we started with. That was the sketch. And I think that's about it. And here's me. That's going to wrap it up for tonight, guys. I appreciate everyone checking out both these feeds. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, all that jazz. Please go to Tabletop Airbrush and subscribe to that channel as well. Help that one grow. Even if you're not into that stuff, subscribe to it anyway. Get my numbers up so I can start doing some live feeds over there. And I will make a plan for next week and see how that goes. I have no idea yet, but maybe the Banshee. What was the other one? Was it Banshee? I think Gary had an idea. What was it? Huh. Huh. Bought you another cocktail. Nice. Yeah, everyone have a good night. Yeah, I can't wait till next week. I get him a cocktail. I took a month off. Did my September month off of diet and no drinking. So, which has been good. Next Thursday night will be fun. Oh, a mummy. Yes. Banshee and a mummy. It's between those two. Maybe both. I don't know. Maybe we'll do a Banshee one week and a mummy another week. And we'll just do all Halloween stuff until Halloween, which will bring me up to SEMA. So, thank you for checking everything out. It is 10:20, 2.5 hour feed, 4.5 hours on this painting. And yeah, I think we're looking good, guys. So thank you, everyone. See you soon. Peace.